able to bring the whole outreach table, sort of outreach kit that we generally hold here, but I was really appreciative of the one that Comrade Rage and other comrades here in St. Louis organized as a part of their outreach. I really like the tablecloth that they use, which is a painted Impedum logo tablecloth. Here you'll see a tablecloth that is African print. This is a type of tablecloth we've used in our outreach in St. Louis, so in San Diego, but you know, whatever you can use really to catch people's eyes. For me, it's very important in terms of leading outreach. Something in my mind said, bring an ironing board. So I was at the hotel and I was going to take the ironing board out of my hotel room, bring it in the car, and bring it here on stage to show about the outreach, because Comrade Bakri Olatunji, the Western Regional Representative, had remarked how when he had first come across the Uhuru movement, it was two different ways. It was through the Scorched Earth campaign in the early 80s in Oakland. Reparations now, food stamps hell, reparations now, things like that, spray painted all throughout. Uhuru spray painted as a part of stencils and things like that as a part of their outreach. He also mentioned that he would go to Lake Merritt and see people doing outreach, selling pies and cookies with an ironing board as their outreach table. So salute to Comrade Moisey and the Hands Off Uhuru outreach done in San Diego. Recently, we've taken towards taking an ironing board with us, placing the cloth over it and using that. I find it to be very effective. It sort of sits up high, you can stand up, it's easy to pack up. It's really made for, you know, if a single person even just wanted to stand and do outreach, and it's accessible. I mean, you can find them almost everywhere. So I really want to salute. It was, I think, chairman who recently spoke on that form of outreach recently. So it's really important. So we're going to, like I said, speak towards the power of outreach, of bringing African people back into political life, but also meeting our recruitment objectives, and how that campaign is going to take place. So we can change slides. Uhuru. So I'd like to salute Chairman Omali Yeshitela, you know, the architect, the leader of the Uhuru movement, African Internationalism, African People's Socialist Party, and you know, and also Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela for her leadership over the economic work of the Uhuru movement. So change slides. I also want to salute Impedum's international leadership, many of which are, you know, heavily, you know, at work even at this moment. Comrade Kabula would have been on the panel, but he is, of course, out organizing, bringing some comrades to the convention. Want to salute the role that everyone has played in the production of this PowerPoint, in the production of this convention, and et cetera. So we have Comrade Marissa, who's the secretary. I want to salute Comrade Marissa's hard work, long work here to really relentless. We got Comrade Kobina Bantashango out of Huntsville, Alabama, the head of our outreach work. I want to salute Comrade to Carl Waller, out of the Impedim's treasurer, really give an important work and shape to Impedim's accounting and Impedim's economic, placing us on the right path economically with her work throughout the year. So I want to really salute and appreciate Comrade Carl. We mentioned Comrade Kabula, so coming to the left of Comrade Kabula, Comrade Akimba out of Philadelphia, New York, Brooklyn, a little bit of everywhere, right? Comrade Akimba. So Comrade Akimba is currently organizing the Northern region, and we see the fastest growth right now, the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement in the Northern region. And that's precisely because of their commitment to the tactics that we're talking about today in terms of outreach, steady outreach. So that's absolutely important. Lastly, out of Occupy Tanzania, I'm self-critical because that should say Director Tafari Magari. So Director Tafari Magari is currently leading the work of the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement in Occupy Tanzania, the branch president being Comrade Zakele and Konza and Zakele and Kondo. So I want to really salute the work of all those comrades. Like I said, in all these places we see the work of Impedum growing, reproducing, putting us on the correct trajectory for a successful 2023-2024 year. But that's precisely because of their commitment towards struggling alongside the mandates placed forward for us by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. I'll show you all this table, then we'll discuss some branch building. I don't necessarily have everything. Let me see if I can show you all the slide of a table we use in San Diego. If you go to page 20, slide 28. So this was a table that we did over at it was an event by a local honoring the Black Panther Party in San Diego. This was last fall, October last fall, so not too far after the raids. And interestingly, you know, there's a science to outreach, especially even to getting the names, because you know we got names, we got signatures for the petition, and we can really chart the success even of our work, our hands-on Uhuru work. I mean, I think this event alone got us something like 30 some odd, 30, 40 signatures. It was a very successful outreach endeavor. So in this table, you'll see to the left, Uzi products, you see Burning Spear products. What we've done is we've digitized all of the different Impedum pamphlets that we have. So you see a 3-ring binder with the Impedum pamphlets and a QR code, just something that takes people to the PDFs of all the different pamphlets so that they can have access to them electronically. And then we see our sign-in sheets. So you got the contact sheet to the left. It's always good policy when you get into contact to actually, as much as possible, for you to write down the person's name as much as possible. Or if you do have them write it down, read it back to them. And if there's anything you don't quite understand, you go ahead and write that down yourself, because of the fact that, you know, you're going to have to input those things. Within 48 hours, you should input those contacts and then do follow-ups with those contacts so that, you know, and then invite those people to secondary events, orientations, and things of that like. See, you see Hands Up Uhuru slides, you see the Burning Spear, you see the petition, the Hands Off Uhuru petition. And, this sort of successful outreach, regular outreach, taken out to the people has been fruitful for our Hands Off Uhuru petitioning and campaigning taking place over in San Diego. I mean, hundreds of petitions have come out of San Diego alone. But then the thing that I found very effective is the QR code that takes people to PayPal and to Cash App so that they can make donations for when they purchase spears and our other products, or just, like I said, regular donations. So where should you table? You should table farmer markets, campuses, community events, parks, outside grocery stores, street corners near public transit stops, understanding, where you can, where you can't be, abiding by whatever rules are there. Your goal is to go out there to meet the people, to get to the people. I want to salute the comrades from Chicago, Comrade Kabula. I think when Kabula comes back in, maybe he can even share that story. There's a story that Chairman tells about going to an event in Chicago, and then he comes across this guy with a card table set up, and he's doing Uhuru movement outreach at this event. And for me, that really signifies the work, the constant organizing that someone like Comrade Kabula does. Now, like I said, you should do outreach, and you should do this sort of outreach and tabling as much as possible. If you hear about an event, contact the organizers. Here in St. Louis, Artemis, right? Artemis organizes a spoken word poetry event over at All That Sauce, or Too Much Sauce. I think it's called Too Much Sauce. And it's an excellent space, and they rotate the people that are able to do outreach. But guess what? We got we got 52 organizations. We got 52 different organizations. So maybe AMWO can come next week. Can Black Power Blueprint come next week? Can USM come next week? Can Impedum come next week? Right? Take up as much space as possible. As a part of the outreach that we do. Very rarely want to salute USM, because USM every now and then get emails from USM. Lynn, hey, comrade, we got this contact, this African contact. When we were doing outreach, we want to turn this over to you all. Like I said, find out the process for vending. Sometimes some colleges, for example, they might say you need, they might list some crazy things. There was a community college said you got to pay $250 to vend, and then you find out that as soon as you go into the office, they waive the fee for everybody, as long as you put an application, right? But that $250 is possibly a way for them to screen people. But we had a student, a comrade who's a student, commit to outreach. He found out, once again, like I said, he was able to get it waived. Now he's able to table on campus in the free speech area. Most public universities, things like that, colleges, things like that, are going to have designated areas. Another thing that I learned, it's not necessarily for this slide per se, but if you have a petition in many places, you're able to legally table, even in places where they might not allow for quote unquote solicitors. Petitions I found doing outreach in San Diego that we were selling spear, and they said, hey, no soliciting, you can't do that unless you, and the guy said, unless you had a petition. And he was an African security guard, probably giving us a little bit of a loophole. With that loophole, he said, unless you got a petition. So, well, shoot, actually we do. African Shards Inside petition. He pulled it out, looked at it, he said, oh, wow. Okay, yeah, no, you guys keep doing what you're doing. So just to understand that, if you can get into a market officially, it's better to do it that way, so you can have an official presence. If you can't, you can do it on a public sidewalk outside the market. We did that recently. They told us we couldn't be there. That's where Moisey pulled out the the ironing board, and that's how we set up there. Like I said, same goes for campuses, public sidewalks. Public sidewalks are usually fine as long as you're not disrupting a business for a store and things like that. So tabling. Tabling is important. It's going to be fruitful because as we'll see later on, we have the goal of gaining 80 new impediment members per month. Only 80 new impediment members per month. So throughout the regions of the U.S. alone, we're looking at like 16 new members. So that's the regions of the United States alone. That's 16 new members. That's 4 people a week. That's 4 people a week. 4 people a week coming to sign up for $25. So 4 people a week in each region alone signing up for $25 is $24,000 a year, right? So just remember that 4 people in one region alone sign up for $25 every week. If I'm doing my numbers correct, $24,000 and some change, right? So we can bring in $24,000 alone by simply bringing in 4 people a week. That's roughly a dozen hours worth of outreach in every place we are for 80 people a month for at $25 will put us towards $24,000 a year in membership income. That's that's not a small thing. The other thing too is it will bring in organizers. So let's go back to slide 1. I'm sorry, slide 4, and then we'll move forward. So outreach is key to building our movement. It's key to recruiting thousands of members into the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. We know that Chairman Omalishi Tella, I was told, had said that quantity going to get you quality. Quantity going to get you quality. And Chairman said something today. We know that we're not recruiting African internationalists, but it's important that African internationalists are doing the recruiting, right? So that to me is something that if y'all are writing, go on and write that down. Very, very profound. Change slides. So the African People's Socialist Party is an organization of organizers. Chairman laid this out in 1985 as a part of the Oakland Summer Project in a document titled African People's Socialist Party as a part of organizers. It's in this document he laid out the style of mass organizing needed to win the masses of African people back into political life. And without a doubt, it has spawned it spawned the social movements, even that, not just the African liberation movement, but the movements we understand today. I returned to San Diego 2011. It's around that time that the Occupy stuff was going on. I was attending Occupy stuff. That was around the time that eventually they had the Oakland Summer Project taking place in 2012. And I really, and I remember an excellent article penned in the Burning Spear newspaper around that time, showing how it was the Black Community Controller Housing Campaign in Oakland that laid the whole groundwork for the campaigns around housing that came to personify that whole period. So moving forward 2 slides. So it's only through building this ironclad organization can the African Revolution be successful in liberating Africa and African people. So we have to do this sort of day in, day out, relentless outreach, organizing work on the ground. This is how the party has built its leadership over the movement. This is how Impedum will grow. We'll change slides. The work of the party, including our work as members of Impedum, is to organize. But you hear people say organize, and all this other stuff. But it's organizing through the theory of African internationalism, right? So it's not simply because you'll hear people say that, oh, y'all talking, all this stuff. But I'm about action. But it's a theory of African internationalism attached to our organizing, which makes our action, our organizing meaningful. So we can change slides. So yeah, like I said, salute to Chairman. This is Chairman on Canfield Drive. If I'm correct, this is 2014. The highest example of what it means to organize. I mean, someone, I think it was Moisey or something, was telling me recently, the chairman talked about, he said, I sell 3,000 spirits in a month, And so, I mean, and I believe it. I believe it because, yeah, I mean, when you become so identified with it, then the people seek you out. Then they make sure things are, hey, you ain't got no spirits, what's wrong? Oh man, I sold out. Oh man. Okay, let me know. I mean, Comrade Diab just right now asked for 25 spirits, right? Change slides. So Impedum was organized to defend the democratic rights of the African community, which is part of the tactics and strategies laid out by Chairman Omar Shatella in his 1977 document, in which he underscores that the first task is winning African people to the position of independence, not assuming that because people haven't been won to the position of independence that they're anti-independence. So this is a very, very important project for us. On slide 13, we see here that the time is right. I mean, when we see the resistance of Africans, we see from Montgomery, where them Africans was beating those people with the folding, the African was beating those people with the folding chair, to Niger, where Africans came in and was beating the people with the other chairs. We see resistance. Resistance is on the rise. So the time is right for Impedum. It's on this foundation, on this basis of decades of hard work that we can say that there's never been really a better time to build Impedum, which underscores a lot of the work we've been doing. The next slide shows an image. I referenced this earlier, the idea of taking the democratic struggle to the African masses. I recognize this. I had mentioned this picture earlier. That's the only reason why I show it, is the sense that, are you on guard for the full democracy, join the NAACP now, right? So suggesting that NAACP is the path through which you're going to achieve full democracy. We know that is not correct, but what we've done with the International People's Democratic Movement, we have a postering campaign that we put into place, with different statements. One of them I really like was, we were in a meeting, chairman said something, he said something to the extent that freedom is freedom is necessity of recognition. Freedom is a recognition of necessity. Freedom is a recognition of necessity, right? So we got a postering campaign, join International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, complete the Black Revolution of the 1960s, Join the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. Defend African housing rights. Join the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. So that is a messaging campaign we want to put in place this year. First and foremost, finding out how much does it cost to gain the to have pre-shipped envelopes. The envelopes where you send something out to somebody and then they can put it back into the mail it back to you free of charge. So we have a phone banking. We will have a phone banking thing where just like those ACLU people called us, we call our contacts, the thousands of them. Have them commit, send them an envelope, have them be able to send it back. But for them to send it back, there's got to be an address for them to send it back to. There's got to be somebody that can open up those envelopes. So that's the importance of us building out our offices to the fullest capacity. I'm going to move forward just a little bit. Move back. So we'll move to slide 29. So we talked about where to table, now where to do outreach. We do outreach anywhere you can find major events, festivals, demonstrations. So most recently, we've done outreach to MLK parades, Malcolm X Day events, Black History Month events, concerts, block parties, festivals. I forget where we were at recently, but that's myself, Comrade Zaid, and her children doing outreach at an event there in San Diego. It's another event in which an African woman on the next slide was beaten by some white nationalists in a very reactionary part of San Diego. And what we've instituted is a uniform of sorts, right? So dress matters as a part of our outreach. With the denim, teaching people the reason why Impedum rocks denim, with representing the junta militant organization, that being the dress uniform of the junta militant organizations. There you see Comrade Zaid, Comrade Moisey rocking the denim jackets, Black Impedum or Uhuru Movement t-shirts to make them recognizable, other RBG wear, fatigues, buttons and other sort of flair and things like that to make people noticeable. You can go to, people should be able to purchase these things from you locally as well. Impedum's Big Cartel site is a place where you can purchase your Uhuru swag. So there's going to be 5 steps, and then we'll end it here. Slide 32, 5 steps on recruiting members. So how to recruit members on tables in 5 steps. So first one, the first slide is plan your table. So you want to plan your table. Like I said, choose your locations, set your hours, consolidate materials, consolidate staffing. The way you consolidate your materials is a pack and load list. So you should know what you need. And then set your goals. And your goals might change there. So you might have to reassess your goals, but set your goals for the events that you're going to be at. If the goals seem unachievable, outreach might be done for the day. If the goals seem that you've undershot it, you might want to change your goals. So by setting goals, change slides. What are your membership goals, your fundraising goals, your flyering goals? How many spears you want to get? How many contacts do you want to get? Coming to some scientific understanding of what you have achieved. This is an excellent, beautiful slide too. Setting up your booth. This is an excellent, beautiful USM and Uhuru Planet booth with all of the different aspects of how, really a successful booth is put together. So we'll change slides and we'll talk about some of those items. Keep items for your table, key items for your table booth. We talked about that. Impedum or similar banner. We have understanding the banner you might need for different events, right? So for example, we have the Africans Charge Genocide banner we might use for an event. We have the Black Community Control Police Impedum banner we might use for an event. So knowing the banner to use, literature, t-shirts, outreach, retractable banners, that's the long one that you saw, and even a donation can. FOFI, AbDev has found extreme support just with the donation can alone, with information about the campaign they're seeking donations for. Number 3 is the coordinator gives an overview to all volunteers. One thing I really love about outreach, and hopefully you guys will like it too, is that like you can get people who unite with outreach who might never sign, or at least not yet, sign a membership form, but what they're being won to is the work. And when you win them to the work, you put them to work, you got a force, so the coordinator is going to give an overview to all of the members. In the overview, they're going to give political context. Why are we doing this? How is it? How it is in the context of the work happening around the world? How we are taking on the major question of and the purpose for that outreach. How does it relate to the purpose and the mission for the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement? That is the tabling, and that's important. So we change slides again. So you want to hook, right? You want to hook. How do you get people to stop and hear what you have to say? So dressing a certain way, talking to everybody who passes you, things like that. However, if they don't, there's a certain level of like, if you're not good with rejection, doing outreach, the best thing that's going to help you out, help you learn how to do a rejection. So a bless and release process is important. Number 5, craft your entire message around membership in Impedum. So you're not just talking to somebody because there's some cool stuff, and man, I love talking to them brothers. They always got some cool talk. Because the truth is, if you waste too much time on the wrong person doing outreach, you might miss other people. So there's an objective to win that person, because, like I said, there's other people who will be watching you. I'll make this PowerPoint available to others, especially to all the branch leaders that are here, that are going back to continue the work that's being done. But a couple things that's important is after the next steps after you table is going to be the follow-up. Right. So after you follow up, you're going to hold summations with the comrades who did the outreach. You're going to fill out the reports, outreach report. You're going to enter contacts into the MailerLite, email them to membership@impedum.org. So that your local contacts can be entered into our international contacts, and make sure you locally contact them. The Impedum branches, I want Impedum branches to have no less than bi-weekly orientations where people can come and learn just simply about this organization that they've signed something up on. So they should know that they can be invited to a weekly orientation to just simply learn about the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement. Eventually, the thing that's really going to place us on the road to success is fully putting into place the membership and sustainable funding process. There's a series of do's and don'ts when it comes to outreach. Like I said, be proactive. Do be proactive. Work the crowd. Talk to every person who walks by your table. Assume unity. Smile, be friendly, make contact. Eye contact, wave. Make sure that everyone walks away from the table with at least one piece of literature in their hands. Encourage people to sign your contact sheet and make sure it's legible. Walk people over to the table. Don't get into arguments, debates, or confrontations. Once again, like I said, bless and release. And this is something that I honestly think we should even take towards when we're interacting with people on social media. I mean, first off, you never know who you're interacting with. God always assume that it's the state, but then also, don't interrupt your fellow organizer when they're talking to a contact. Answer a question you don't know the answer to. Just say, I'll have to look into that, or ask the coordinator. And also, don't give up. Don't give up. We're winning. Like I said, 4 members a week throughout every region of North America alone, bringing $24,000 next year. So that's only 4 in every region alone. So in the Midwest, we talking 1 person in St. Louis, 1 person in Springfield, 1 person in Chicago, 1 person in Minneapolis every week, brings in $24,000. So that's pretty remarkable work. And we really want this training to speak towards some of the future presentations we'll have today, and the membership drive campaign that will help impede them grow, get off the treadmill, and do what we need to do next year. So I want to now take this back to y'all. Was there anybody here who said, okay, I'm going to do that $1,000 Marcus Garvey membership? Anybody win anybody to that Marcus Garvey membership? Remember, 3 Marcus Garvey members alone will move us within $300 of our $10,000 goal. Yeah, come on. So now I'm going to pass it over to Comrade. Oh, go for it.
Are you thinking of, I guess, editing the prices, for lack of a better word, to fit the international masses?
Yeah, that's actually an excellent question. So every region does have the ability to, every region has different, has formed their own regional membership prices and membership levels. I think the next step that we can do is to work on the back end and see what it takes. So I've been doing some and see what it takes to make that reflective on the website in terms of the currency people can pay in and things of that sort. But yeah, that's an excellent observation and question. So Uhuru, what time are we at?
It is 1:13.
Okay, so it is now 1:13 and lunch is on the way. I'd like to yeah, go for it. You got your stool?
Now you can see me. Masamela said we're 3,300 and
$3,299 for it.
okay. Marcus Garvey membership is the ultimate. I paid, I started out with basic when chairman came and started spitting knowledge that I needed after Mike Brown was murdered. And then I said, okay, at the time I was employed with the VA. So I said, don't call me, don't send me no, or put me on no list, don't send me no emails. I will support monetarily as an active member, right? So within a year, I had well, not within a year, at the time, I had a poetry radio show. And when they gave me a new one, right after Mike Brown was murdered, guess who my first guest was? Chairman Omali Yeshitela, okay? But I'm the one that said, don't do this, okay? I saw how I fit in the Uhuru movement. I was just okay. But after 2 years of running that program, that poetry event, I had been paying $25, and then I went up to $21 a month. And then DC owner say, comrade, why are you still paying this a month when you can become a Marcus Garvey member and never have to pay again? I say, I was just throwing money after money. So that year, I paid $89 a month, $84, I'm sorry, a month. And I did it in 9 months and became a Marcus Garvey member. And it has been, it's like sitting on top of the hill, looking around, said, okay, where can I help you now? Because I paid my membership. I love the t-shirts. Any t-shirts they have for the Marcus Garvey members, I get one. I get into every convention free. So the money, the last 2 years, I've had a $60, a $50 a month membership, which is $600 a year, just to support. Since my economics have changed as far as its employment, because the government attacked the clinic that I was working at and took the funds. Yeah. Anytime you're doing something for Black people, they attack you. Yeah. Especially if you're not doing it the way they want you to. Yeah. See, we were called Basic, and it was founded on treatment for alcohol and drug addicts that were changing their lives, but not with medication, not switching one medication to another. Right. It was building the person from within. This went on for 42 years. And at Christmas, at the Christmas program, Rage and I attended, I specifically said, they attacked us. They attacked my organization after 50 years of working and freeing and educating Black people. They could attack us, be careful, they will attack you. And by this year, May, June, July, guess what, same month. In July, they closed the clinic by taking the resources. So no job is untouchable, but I paid my $1,000 and I still get to the Impedim's events free. And since I can't do my $50 a month, I donated $300 that I had saved for this event, for this education. But because when I educate African people, I educate a grandson. My baby grandson just turned 2 years old yesterday. So he will know Black power. And my granddaughter that's born on Chairman's birthday, she'll be 19. She goes to HBCU in Fayetteville, North Carolina. She knows about Black power. And she told DC owner to tell her husband happy birthday. I'm gonna tell you, being a part of Impedum has groomed majority of the leadership in the movement.
Yes.
I started out in Impedum, okay? Now I am I'm the regional rep for ABDEP here in the city, in this region rather, but I'm also I'm on the IEC of ABDEP as the leadership, the international leadership for Project Black Unk, which is the health portion of the organization. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I've been there for a year since leaving Impedum's economic development. But you see me up here doing what I could, like I was still on the IEC with, you know, of Impedum, because it's always the beginning point or where people learn the basic of being in political life. Right. You know, I know some great poets. They call me a legend because I've done poetry here in St. Louis since 1996. And from that point on, we were a group that were some of the greatest poets in the area that traveled the United States and Canada. Right. And we were independent poets that came together as a group. So I've done more by myself than I have with the group, but the group make us powerful. Yeah. The group, the organization make us powerful. And the words you say, you can say the Uhuru movement, you know who we are, the Uhurus. Yeah. You can say Solvide, that's the group that's set ground on a lot of stuff happening in St. Louis. And I'm surprised that some of my comrades said they didn't know I was a poet. Really? So I'm gonna do one piece. Okay. I'm gonna do this one. It was one I did that is called I'm an African Woman, but I revised it a little bit so to have a different, the same message, but to everybody. Okay. Like those young guys that been here spitting. When I was traveling, I knew mine by heart too. But reading is fundamental. As I go back out on the road, and I'm going back on the road. That was my retirement promise to myself. But on this time, I won't be just Poet 4 Feet. I'll be the revolutionary Poet 4 Feet. Okay. In a letter to my grandchildren, no need for ancestry or 23andMe. This is a lesson from Grandma. I'm a stolen African woman born on stolen indigenous land, and my DNA is under siege around the world. Words formed deep in my belly speaks of change. I create and throw spears from my mouth in cries of injustice. I have been a revolutionary longer than I knew what revolutionary meant. Right. We have been lied to and bamboozled into a false nationality. We are Africans born in America. Africa is our home. Our ancestors were railroaded here to work and entertain. Yeah, entertain. Forced in chains at gunpoint. We were the colonial mode of production, or we are the colonial mode of production. What happened to African people is called the original sin. Wow. They continue to put their foot on our necks, regardless, rewrite our history and manipulate our future. Revolutionary fighters are born into existence in the struggle to unleash our seeds from bondage. All melanated people are colonialized and suffering. Our strength is formed and found on the backs of all our ancestors and freedom fighters who were attacked, their homes destroyed, families missing, killed, and stolen. We deal with these same items today. Uhuru is freedom in Swahili. Uhuru means life to humanity. African liberation is world liberation. The revolution will come by any means necessary. I fight to be free and to exercise my human rights. Did you know free speech and African liberation is against the law? I am a stolen African woman, born on stolen indigenous land. And my DNA is still under siege after 600 plus years. This will happen until Uhuru is won and we are free. Uhuru, love grandma. When I first started writing poetry, it was like lyrics, like, what's his name? Smokey Robinson. Okay, his poetry is lyrics. So I started writing lyrics. And the one thing I knew about was either the actual love that I had physically or the love I had in my head. Well, now my love has broadened and so has my poetry, as you have seen. And this poem was a gift to my children and all African children from their grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-great-great-grandmothers, because until they learn the truth about who they are, no ancestry or 23andMe can give them that, they'll believe it from their parents. And guess what? I'm one of their parents. Uhuru. But this organization is the ground. It's where at the age of 60, when I heard Chairman speak about Mike Brown, he threw out spears of knowledge that I said, wow, I've been joining these organizations, following the poetry history, trying to see where I come from and why my people are under siege, why my people are dying, why are my children not growing up to know A from B? Why are they confused and looking for some leadership? Then I knew I was taught to be afraid of the Black Panthers, because if you talk about the Panthers, then you're gonna get in trouble. Well, you know what? I'm an unindicted co-conspirator because my goal in the time that I have standing on this earth is to free every African, every indigenous person, every Mexican, every person breathing, because I'm a nurse, I believe in them breathing, to self-determination and self-reliance. Because if you can take care of yourself as a nurse, you take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. So I got to be free and talk about freedom so people will know what it looked like. So people will know what it feel like and the joy of being free. How dare they try to censor speech? Come on now. That's what poets live by. So the event we gave, more Artemis and myself, on last Saturday, you know, people was looking and said, you know what, I'm a Uhuru. I said, well, let's make it happen. So they asked us to do that event more often. And we'll do it once a quarter. And that'll give us time to build it. And at the same time, the program was amazing because I had Impedum members and Uhuru members doing 1-minute infomercials about the paperwork that we had put out on everybody's desk. The Hands Off Uhuru, ANWO, ABDAP, Impedum. We made a couple of little mistakes because a lot of people that we expected to come didn't come. But they knew who we were and they knew why we were there. That was the main thing. And with that being said, I'm come up here to say, look, we need $3,000. And if you can be a member, if you can become a member to upgrade your membership, if you're paying $30 a month, add $20 to that, make it $50. That $30 was $20. You can do that. And if you get your basic member, add $10 extra to that. Pay $60 a month. And I mean $10 a month. That's $60 a year. Huh?
$10 a month, 120 a year.
Is it? Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that. $10. $5 is 60, but 10, that makes a little difference. Because every penny you pay is put in good use. So with that being said, how many people in this group will upgrade your membership from whatever it is to $10 or $20 more a month? Can I get some hands? Yeah. Yeah, question.
So I just joined as a cumulative member, and I'm jobless currently, so I'm not signing up for that. But a question to you. The Marcus Garvey membership, are you saying it's a lifetime membership?
Yes, yes.
So we need to make that clear.
That's what I did. I said, you don't pay anymore.
You pay $1,000, you don't have to pay anymore. You can move down if you want to support to a lower.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't do it today, anytime within this year, you can say, well, you know what? I want to upgrade. Ain't that right, Masamela? You can upgrade and become a Marcus Garvey a Marcus Garvey member. You can become a Huey P. Newton member if you're not. You can become a Sada Shakur member. You can become a member in a higher category. And hey, online, I'm talking to you too. Okay, put in the chat that you want to upgrade your membership so we can, Comrade can follow it up. Put in the chat that why you want to upgrade, because you believe in what we're doing. Right. And you want, if you can't go out and do knocking on doors or go out tabling, and you can't give out flyers for whatever reason, physical, right, mental, right, or responsibilities at home, you can donate an extra $20 a month. Yeah. Okay. And with that, I'm unemployed, but I am rich in revolution. Uhuru. Okay.
All right, so now what we would like to do in honor of our members is we would like to move towards a recognition of our members through the Black Star Awards. Okay, so she will. All right, so starting from the top, we'd like to, we have community awards in recognition really to African people in the service that they do to the African community, people whom we work with, very trusted allies of the Uhuru movement. The first one we have is of Ronnie Amin. So I know that Maya works with Ronnie. You can we have his, and we can give this to you. So Maya works with Ronnie, so we'll give this to Ronnie. Oh.
When I first went to one of the Board of Aldermen's meeting, I didn't know nothing about it. I've been here in St. Louis a long time. But I knew nothing about what went on down there. I just knew what I saw in the street. But after the first one, and we came and wrapped up, Chairman was saying, who is that guy? That guy that just kept running around back and forth. We didn't know. But guess who? We found out who he was. And that was Comrade Jesse X, Jesse Todd. Comrade, in your community work and the way that you embodied the Uhuru movement and became a spokesperson for us, with us. Okay, comrades, you know, like I said, I went to high school and grade school here in St. Louis, and I lived in East St. Louis for a while. And at some point, my sister said this man was her teacher at one time. I didn't know, I had only met him through social activities with, when I was doing a poetry thing with Eugene B. Redmond. He's East St. Louis poet laureate. Well, I have grown to know this guy in a different light. And he is a community fighter. I found that different groups fight the way they see fit or where they fit in. And the Universal African People Organization, UAPO, President General Zaki Baruti is one of those people that work for the community in the way that they can work with the community, and they're a really good group. You know, they work with a lot of different organizations within the area, and they also are part of Black is Back. Okay, I told you, age catch up with you. Black is Back. Now, this lady, we have worked with her as she ran for office 2 times. And we want to commit, she too is sponsored and a member of Black is Back. You know, the political portion of Black is Back, to be sponsored by that organization, you have to agree to the rules, and you have to agree to be upstanding and work with the community, be a voice for the community. And we want to award copyright as a getting the Black Star Award for being a community worker.
Uhuru, so we'll move through some of these other ones, but I feel like this next organization is very, very important. To all the comrades in New York will attest to this, the work that they do after the July 29th attack. So they were the first organization, if not one of the first organizations to come out. When we talk about the work around Durban and Petum, being in Durban, South Africa, 2021, some of the advances being made around the African Sharks Inside campaign, the December 12th movement. So we want to salute the December 12th movement, Uhuru. So you can say Uhuru.
Uhuru, yeah.
And so we'll send this back with the comrades from New York to make sure it gets to the December 12th movement. Then we got the Art City Defenders. Uhuru. So yeah, so we want to also look at the Art City Defenders. Much of the work that they do, especially really the research, the data, the advocacy, the position they've taken, especially around questions of incarceration, that have been important, even to us allowing to understand the terrain and struggle in defense of democratic rights to the African community. So I want to salute the Arch City Defenders.
Uhuru.
Next up, I mean, you know, yeah, I guess we can say that the organization we work with, but I mean, is there any real suggestion that the work of the Mafundi Lake Organizing Committee and our work go lockstep, hand in hand for the last 45 years or so? Of course not. So we really want to salute Sister Carolyn Lake, all the comrades down in Birmingham, Alabama. Y'all saw them come up here just less than a month ago for the revealing of the housing, as well as the work we do alongside the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement to build. That's important work right there. We'll skip the next two. I will say that Fred Hampton Jr., the state tried to stop him. He will be coming here for the towards the end of our convention today. So Fred Hampton Jr. will be here, and we'll present him with this when he comes, as well as the next one for his mother and the first impediment president, Aku and Jerry. So Fred will be here. Next, we have Tau Baraka. This is a community member in San Diego whom we work very closely with. Oh, sorry. Okay. So, Uhuru. So, of course, Councilman Charles Barron. Councilman Charles Barron, you know, what else could be said about the work and the leadership of Councilman Barron? When we talk about Councilman Barron, Alderman Jesse Todd, I mean, you know, like I said, what else can we say about him? So
He has always supported the political, Black is Back political portion, where it comes to teaching how to run for office, what to do, what not to do. He's always supported the Uhuru movement, Chairman O'Malley, the hands-off committee. He's always been there to commit, him and his wife, Inez. Uhuru.
And Uhuru, see, one thing we want to do, we want to recruit, recognize, and retain. So part of this is recruit, recognize, and retain. So I think these community awards are important, really, as they acknowledge the significance and the importance of the bond that we share with our community members. So the way in which we came, the Imperium IEC, to these community awards were our local branches from New York, from San Diego, from St. Louis and elsewhere, suggesting these are the people. So it's the branches who really brought us these community awards. So we'll move forward, and like I just say, Tau Baraka, which is, like I said, comrade from San Diego. Another comrade, we saw him yesterday, Mestre Dennis Newsom. I don't know if Chairman remembers, but many years ago, probably over 20 years ago, they served as security for Chairman at San Diego State. And Kwaku Abdullah, head of, and Peter member, but also he runs his own independent African school out there. So want to salute them. Uhuru.
Yeah.
All right, so this one right here is important. I mean, what else can be said about this next awardee? I mean, with the Omawale K. Fing Award. Now, this award goes to the comrade who has worked hard to get the burning spear into the hands of the people. And when you talk about the fact that we talk about the Uhuru 3, but we also know that the fact that there's only 3 Uhuru underscores the significance of the counter-offensive we've been waging, because it started as the unindicted 4, right? So as a member, being an unindicted 4, a central committee member of the African People's Socialist Party, and a student. Who knew? Some of y'all didn't know she was in school till y'all seen her with that dressed up like Harry Potter walking across that stage, right? But y'all, bet y'all did not know, and did it in record time. So I mean, like I said, when you look at, I mean, the walking embodiment of what African internationalism is as taught from Chairman Omaya Shatella, you know, from the cradle on up. I just want to salute Comrade Director Akile Anai with the Omawali Camping Award.
Uhuru.
We got another one coming with the accent on there. So, yes. Uhuru, Uhuru. And the next one, growing branch, the branch that exhibited most numerically. And this is so important because of the fact that, like we said, you know, I remember telling somebody about the work we did on the continent in South Africa, and they're expecting, oh, downtown Johannesburg. So where are you all headquartered? And I said Kokosi. They said, oh. They say, oh, that means you with the people. You with the people, you in the townships, right? So this is where Impediment is going to be growing its branches. And the thing is, where you see the growth, it's not magic. It's people implementing the science, the actions of African internationalism, the mandates that Chairman has struggled us to unite with. That's the work coming out of Kokosi. So we want to salute Impediment Kokosi with the Growing Branch Award.
Uhuru. I'm gonna tell you, to have a growing branch is work and unity. Yeah. That means a lot. It means a lot. And Uhuru to the branch of Kokosi.
Uhuru. All right, now we have Worthy of Emulation, the Worthy of Emulation Award. This one goes to the comrade who sets the best example for others to follow. And when it comes to the Impediment organizers right now, I mean, we know that the only thing stopping this comrade from really seizing an entire continent is people and struggling against colonial and neo-colonial infrastructure. I mean, these are comrades that will get in this is a comrade that will get in a car, drive around to charge his phone so that he can be on an international meeting. Sometimes, I don't know, I mean, I was in a meeting at 3 o'clock in the morning with him, and then I look at the meeting and then it's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's in a meeting on the same day. I don't even know when the comrade sleeps, but the comrade is absolutely worthy of emulation. Director Tafari McGarry. Switch slide. Switch slide. Oh. Now we're talking about most growth.
You know, when Chairman came to St. Louis during the uprising of Mike Brown's murder, the first time that I actually was in a meeting and I met Chairman and I did culture, that's how I became a member, actually that night. There was a guy that set up the computer at Legacy to make sure that Chairman was gonna be successful in doing his, he said, I wanna have a meeting. And at that time, Denise Justice she was the connection of all of us. This guy came into town and he didn't say much. He was just, you know, I'm doing this. And he had the computer and he put it up and he set it up and he made sure that Impediment knew what Chairman was doing here on the ground. So we had our rally. Chairman had a rally. This young man, he was quiet and he just did the job. Yeah. And I thought he had been in Impediment for years. He said he hadn't done that before. He had not come and physically done the work to make sure Chairman was online, make sure that people could hear him. And the program was put together where I was just called to do some poetry. And 3 or 4 of us. So that was our first time meeting the other people that became the branch, and we worked with. But this guy set it all off. And this is the one, and Chairman tells stories of how his own ingenuity and his own just getting the work done, you know, quietly. He don't wave a flag. And he's also orders 300 spears a month. Okay? I want to be the one to bring him up. Comrade Kabula Matambo. Bravo.
Uhuru. So just in short, I'll just say this because I know the food is here, but this comrade right here, I mean, she said, comrade, she said, comrade, when you get no shirts made, make sure you make a tan one. Make sure you make a tan one because I got some leopard print pants that I want to wear. So I see her yesterday and she got the shirt on and she said, make it this. Because I said, you ain't that size. She said, I got a little bit of this and I got a little bit of this. Trust me, I am a large or something like that. I said, okay. But you know, she so then when I show up, she offers a criticism. She said, comrade, I thought you was gonna do a different shade of brown. But that's okay, because I had some other pants to match it. So, Comrade 4 Feet, Uhuru swag. I don't know if there's any question who that was going to go to.
But you know what? I try to sway, I try to emulate my leadership.
Uhuru.
Deepen and Chairman O'Malley.
But you know, because I remember that in 2019, I came to the Peter Convention. I remember Chairman talking about how some people with their backwards ideas about what it means to be African, you know, well, I don't want to say bad, but what I would just say is that there were certain political figures who, you know, put on overalls and say, you know, these are the clothes of African people. I mean, you know, my grandfather was from Coachella, Louisiana. He left Coachella, Louisiana because his father was almost lynched, so they moved to Dallas, Texas. Man, I remember when the overalls came back in the 1980s and we was rocking them in the late 80s, early 90s. We had them with the airbrush. My grandfather couldn't stand that we had on no overalls. He was born on a sharecropping plantation in Coachella, Louisiana. He couldn't stand we had on no damn overalls, and he couldn't stand it. So I said, I don't understand why y'all want to wear that. You know, every time I wear it, it's, you know. So Chairman said, you want to know how African people dress? He said, go to church on Sunday morning. Go to church on Sunday. He says that's how African people, you know. So African people got style, and so I really take that understanding of Uhuru swag. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate what Chairman has said there. But the next two comrades, I want to just say them in couple because these are comrades that work through all of the contradictions to do the work, to lead, to emulate. I mean, both of these comrades, I mean, you see the work of one of the comrades with children in a community garden, all sorts of stuff over in South Africa. Comrade Zakele Mkonza, the work that he's doing when we talk about Bold Initiative, comrade who has exhibited bravery and courage in their work. And then after that, Comrade MQ. Comrade MQ is literally, we did a study series. Comrade MQ didn't miss a single study. But Comrade MQ isn't just one of these like I'm online type person. You know, we put out these posters as a part of the poster membership drive. I got it. And Comrade MQ said Comrade MQ comes out with a report. And, you know, I only hit this many stores and blah blah blah. So Comrade MQ. Bold Initiative campaign, you know, Comrade MQ, you know, so every single campaign we led, so every single person we see right here, we're talking about unity with the mandates and the work being done and being passed down. Lastly, we'll move to We'll move to branch of the year and we'll hold off comrade of the year because that comrade isn't online just yet. But in branch of the year, like I said, once again, we see this branch as a branch that has struggled to organize alongside the mandates, all the stuff we talked about right now of impeding unity with the leadership of the IEC. You can see it in the replication and the struggle to get comrades here to the convention. It could have been even the most growth award, but I really felt that it was important to uphold the work of the Impedum New York branch as the branch of the year. You know, when you see all that unity that everybody had towards the movement,
Yeah.
when you see all that unity that everybody had towards the movement, December 12th, that stuff is just happening out of happenstance, right? When you walk into a D12 event and they greet you with an Uhuru, when you talk to people from Patrice Lumumba coalition and they say, oh, we're African internationalists, you know, this is the leadership of the party and the party's work coming back at us. So and Impedum New York is the longest continuous standing branch of the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. I really think that the work and the growth that they have shown over the last year, I mean, they have grown at least twofold or more. Or after being literally devastated, let's be clear. We had a comrade, a beloved comrade died. That was devastating towards the Impedum New York branch. And they've overturned some serious contradictions, especially the fact it's not easy living in the city. Comrades got to work 2-3 jobs, you know. But they've been able to do it because guess what they do on the weekends? They stand on street corners with tables and sign-up sheets and meet the African community where they are. So that's a branch worthy of emulation. That is the most outstanding branch of this year.
Uhuru, New York.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, New Jersey's been able to do it because of Newark. I said New Jersey has been able to do it because of Newark. I mean, you know, I don't see that Colonial River as no divider. You've been central. Okay. Oh.
Comrades.
So it's.
I want to add that the New York branch got together and helped me get my ticket to get here. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of unity that they have.
Yes.
So everybody, it is lunch. It is lunchtime. We apologize for the late arrival. We do want to have lunch. We might have to cut it just a little bit short. Maybe if we can come back at the bottom of the hour. But we have lunch and it's in the back of the room.
You have soup, sandwich, and salad, both vegan and vegan and regular. Vegetarian, we can go with that. Okay? Uhuru, Chairman, you got a special sandwich. No, you know, Toupe hooked you up. I want to thank, she's gone now, Comrade Toupe, Nina Toupe has been supplying the food for today. Comrade is a lifetime, she's working on a lifetime membership in ABDEP under the Black Arm. Uhuru.